All right. Hello. Welcome to the Samantha Page Show. I am your host, Samantha Page, and with me, as always, is Autumn, Autumn Rose, the stories from a trans witch. Hello, everybody. Um, this is episode 15, which means basically that we are 100% floating paint chip free in this particular dry run episode. Uh, we're happy about that. Hello, everyone. Um, I'm having issues of being able to hear myself, so I'm going to hit some buttons, which are always dangerous. Let's see what happens. Still can't hear myself on that. Okay. There. I can kind of hear myself now. All right. Um, Welcome. And we've got an interesting show today. We're going to talk a little bit about local politics here in the Portland and Vancouver, Washington area. We're going to talk about some national stories. And then we're going to talk about one of my favorite movies, which is kind of an odd movie to call my favorite movie, but it really is one of my favorite movies. And that movie is Tangerine, which was made in 2015, and it stars trans cast, trans actresses in a sort of day in the life of some trans women in Los Angeles. Uh, it's actually a pretty good movie, and I'm really excited to talk about it. And it's got some problems, but it also is delightful in its own little way. And I'm going to nerd out on a particular scene when we get there. So, yay. But let's check in. Autumn, how are you? How are you doing today?
Doing a little good. Pretty good. Tired.
Yeah.
Don't know why we didn't really do much this weekend, but
No, it was kind of a quiet stay home, do some work, kind of for lack of a better word. We did go to a class, which was exciting. And we're going to talk a little bit about the class that we attended, which was de-escalation and protest safety. And so we'll talk a little bit about what we learned and the methods that they talked about. I don't know if any of you intend to go any protests. I mean, our lives are protests in general. And that was kind of when we did the sort of during the class, we had a portion where we would sort of reenact or act out, potentially, situations that needed de-escalation. And it always seemed like it was postured from the position of you're coming up to someone who's protesting something else, particularly ICE facility or whatever, and trying to de-escalate them, trying to calm them down so that there isn't. And I was more focused on what do you do when they're yelling at you, when they're you're in line at the grocery store and they start coming up to you and start giving you the business. How do you de-escalate that? And of course, if you're stuck in the grocery store line, you can't run away. But anyway, so it was a helpful class. It was interesting and definitely some interesting information if you intend to go to a protest or to a No Kings rally or to anything like that. My first time at the ICE facility here in Portland, I wore heels, and that was not really. I became more of a liability than a protester at that point when I showed up. And it was very cold, and I was completely underdressed. But I now know much better should I want to go down there again, how to attire myself thanks to this class. So, and Autumn, why don't you name the person who taught the class? I know it was indivisible, but who was the
his
gentleman
name
who?
his name is Chad. He's a retired firefighter and EMT.
Yes, and he is a part of our team, whether he knows it or not. He is part of our de-escalation team. We took Hawkeye with us when we went to Hillsborough. Or was it Hillsborough Pride? Was it
That's
the high school?
Tiger Pride.
Tiger Pride. We took Hawkeye with us to Tiger Pride because we didn't know what to expect, and he was kind enough to volunteer some time and hang out with us, and he was very sweet, very nice, and that's how we learned about his class. And I instantly roped him in as part of our team. So, yay! So we have a de-escalation team.
I guess he hasn't signed the contract yet, but that's
No, nobody has. If you're familiar with the Straw Hat Crew, you kind of get an idea of what's going on here. Anyway, I digress. So we're going to talk a little bit about stuff that's going on in Oregon and here in Vancouver or Battleground particularly. But why don't you lead us off with some stuff going on there in Oregon?
I actually don't have a lot going on in Oregon. I was going to
Oh,
let you do
okay.
your battleground, and then I have my Art of the Deal that I published earlier that we can
Oh,
talk about.
I remember Art of the Deal. So this is more about me than you probably need to know. But um, I I got arrested when I was living on the street. I got arrested for shoplifting food, and it was on the weekend, and I had to spend the weekend in jail. And I was terrified young kid, and uh, they brought around a book thing. It was full of like because I was there for the weekend because the judge wasn't going to be back. It was a small town, and They brought a library around, and the book that they gave me was Art of the Deal by Donald Trump. I know it's not really by him, but and so it was long story in terms of when I was shoplifting, but it doesn't really matter. I was building shelves. Okay, this is the '80s, and you built shelves by taking milk crates and putting plywood along the milk crate so that you could put your albums in the milk crate, and then you had your shelves. And this was like Gen X starter furniture. And and we were in a small town, and we decided to go behind Dairy Queen that had milk crates, and so we grabbed several crates each, like two or three or four each, and we were walking back to the house that we had rented, and the cops came and they they hustled. They said that they were worth $20 each when they were only worth $20 total. And so they wanted to give us a hard time, and we ended up spending the weekend in jail. Well, we learned all about town cops that weekend. But anyways, and I also read The Art of the Deal. Uh,
And it was the
was
best book about doing a deal ever, right?
No, I instantly knew that this gentleman knew nothing about what he was talking about, and he was all about the art of the con. But he's been a part of my life my entire life. He was in the tabloids with his marriage issues and with his dating and with his various flauntings. He's been and then his TV show, and then so he's always been a part of my life. His Howard Stern appearances. Oh my God, I remember those. Um, but so he's always been sort of like wallpaper to my life, and now unfortunately he's more than wallpaper. He's blue paint peeling from the bottom of a reflecting pool. It's the perfect metaphor for his presidency. And then and then even better, he improved upon it, of course, being Trump, by blaming vandals. So then it became a perfect metaphor for his life.
Now you're still having my material for the week.
Oh no, I didn't mean to steal anybody's material. But it's just, it's the perfect metaphor for his life, and now for his presidency, and now for his life. And I just think it's sad that we as the American taxpayer have to watch this, and as Americans watch what the harm that he's doing. Um Anywho, that
But
was
it's
fun.
like a car wreck. You have your glass of tea and you want to look away, but you really can't.
Yeah, but I get that. I certainly get that, and I certainly, understand the Schadenfreude or whatever it is, the German term for getting that. But it's sad. This is our country, and to see its utter embarrassment on the world stage at every turn is just uh sad. I think that's one of the things he went and invented a tweet with before he was presidency. But anyway, I'll steal that. I guess I do steal things. Sad.
Well,
Anyway,
officially, as of now, he's hiding at Camp David, which he has been on the record multiple times saying he hates Camp David. So something interesting is going on.
good, good. I hope he has allergies to trees like me. Anyway, and the eggs are runny. I don't really know what kind of food they get at Camp David,
I
but
know there was there was a news article about him, and when he was talking about Camp David, he was like, "It's very rustic," and that's like,
mm, hmm
"AKA, you're a city boy, you hate it. Just say it."
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm in a city girl. I don't really like it, but rustic to him, I think, is probably that the toilet isn't gold plated or something. I don't know. What do you mean someone doesn't wipe for me? Where's the bidet? Anyway, so let's I know you're letting me talk too much. You're giving me too much rope, Autumn. You know that this isn't supposed to, but okay. What are you
We
gonna
have
talk about,
fun
honey?
sometimes with it.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna pull up, and I'm not gonna read through it, but I'm gonna pull up my article I wrote earlier and kind of talk
Mm-hmm.
about what was going on in it.
Okay.
So that means for Samantha, we get to go to the bubble.
Yes, bubble time, bubble time, bubble time. Wow, that was quick. You nailed it. Nailed the bubble time. Wow, we
So
are
this is the
getting there.
article that I
Uh-huh.
released earlier today, The Art of a Bad Deal, How Trump's Diplomatic and Infrastructural Failures Mirror Each Other, a tale of two disasters in the Middle
Huh.
East to the reflecting pool.
Ah. Okay.
So basically, we talked about, we just invested $14.7 million into the Lincoln
Is
Memorial
invested
reflecting pool.
really the right word for this? I mean, it was a no bid contract where you just kind of picked up a phone. I mean, come on, invested? We, the taxpayers, most certainly did not. But go ahead. I'm sorry, I
we're
digress.
we're trying to keep it professional here. But then,
Come
we
on,
got.
they aren't.
So let's talk about the Iranian war for a minute. So we know this has been going on for a while, and Trump said that he was going to go in and dismantle the JCPOA, which, for those that don't know, that is the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, which was the original negotiation that Obama had in place as far as
Mm,
that started in 2015 with Iran.
okay.
Now, the thing about this, let me get to the actual points here.
Are you going to explain how much we're actually getting such a great, better deal? The only deal that
Oh,
we need
we're
to
definitely
get
going into
because
framework here.
okay, good because this is like the deal, right?
Uh, if I can find it,
This is Vance
it's
or is
really,
this
this was not Vance.
okay?
This was Trump. Don't
You
let him
sure?
play that with you.
Because he seems to want to make everything bad. His Vance's problem.
Well, if it's his fault, it's probably Vance. But
Yeah, right.
okay, so here's some of the terms under the Obama deal. So there was a hard cap of on enrichment. Iran was limited to 3.67% enrichment for 15 years.
Okay.
There was EA inspections, regular access to declared and undeclared sites.
Hmm.
There was verified dismantlement program. There was snapback sanctions, which were automatic imposition of sanctions if any violations were made. This was backed by the UN Security Council
Oh,
and
yeah.
European allies.
Other
Now
people
let's
actually were involved. Yeah.
now let's talk about Trump. What do we have with Trump? Well, we have a framework and a 60-day peace talk and a agreement on the table.
Is the Strait
And
of Hormuz actually open at this moment? Just out of curiosity. I mean, did it? Is
no,
it?
so actually we were getting to that, but the
No.
Strait of Hormuz closed again officially today
Yeah. Couldn't
because
see that coming at all. I mean,
part of the original agreement was that Israel was going to stop bombing places as well, and obviously
oops.
they didn't. I guess Israel didn't get that memo this week.
Yeah.
So Iran said we're closing the strait again, which the president did not respond
Hmm.
well to. In
No.
fact, in a 2 a.m. rant, he said that they won't make it back to their country if they close the strait again. So
So did he actually threaten genocide again? Is this? I mean, is this?
for the fourth time this week.
Ooh. Okay. All
So
right. I
that's pretty
mean.
much where we're at with that. And meanwhile, back at the
Mhm.
swamp, I mean DC, we have a reflecting pool that's full of algae. And it was really great this week. They did the hydrogen peroxide, and we got a blue outline ring. So at least we had a
Yes.
picture frame for that.
We had a frame for the algae. The algae needed a frame. We gave it a frame.
So what was your best meme that you saw from the reflecting pool this week?
Ah, I really liked the Ferengi in the in the reflecting pool, dipping a bottle into the water, saying, it's Romulan ale. I really like that one. I also, I definitely, I saw some from Vacation this morning that were really clever with the shitters full, and he's, dumping. Oh my god, that was pretty funny too. But yeah, just it's difficult to take such pleasure in this utter failure, but if it wasn't so utter a failure, it would probably be harder to take pleasure in it because it doesn't vote. I mean, it doesn't look well as Americans, but it's most definitely one of these things where you're just like, yeah, huh. Who? Yeah. It's perfect timing too.
Well, just make sure when you're in DC, do not touch the reflecting
Yes.
pool. You will
No
go to jail for
collecting the
that.
paint chips to sell to unwary Republicans. This is you'll go to jail. Apparently, you'll get arrested. They'll blame you for
So we
not
haven't we haven't
collecting the
blamed
chips.
the people that redid the pool and been like, "Hey, what happened with your quality of work here?"
No,
But
just
we
blame.
arrested a 67-year-old Olympic canoeer
Yes,
for touching the pool.
for touching the paint. He touched the paint.
Touch the paint,
Do
sorry.
not touch the. You stay off the grass and don't touch the paint. This is America. Okay. Yeah, that's just. Oh my god. Uh, and they're big chunks of blue paint too. It's not little like decorative flakes. So
You know,
these are big chunks and they're gonna have to. The problem is we're gonna have to pay to repair his utter fuck up again.
Well,
Can
$13
America?
million in renovations to fix the $14 million renovation.
Right, exactly. Yes, yes. And then of course we'll also have the ballroom that we don't need that we're stuck with a half torn down White House, the People's House, half torn down People's House with an octagon in the front lawn and construction cranes and anyway.
Still looking
Uh,
pretty trailer park.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, uh, yeah. So that otherwise, how's the play, Mrs. Lincoln? I mean, I don't know what to talk about. Yeah.
Well, speaking of trailer park, we could go up to a certain town in Washington you're investigating right now.
Oh no, we're not going to call it that. I don't want to disparage, a town. It's a whole town. I mean, yes, they call
Okay,
where
you
I
ask
live.
anybody in Portland, I bet they'll agree with me.
Yes, well, I mean, they call where I live Kentucky. So the Couve. I prefer the Couve. But if it matters. We have a little town here called Battleground, Washington, and some of you might know Battleground by its name for its involvement. I can't remember what it was, but it's a town um on north of where I live, and it recently, first of all, it has a weird political structure because they don't actually vote for the mayor. It's actually the town board votes amongst themselves for the mayor. But it's a town similar to a certain town I believe in Idaho, in which a Christian faith has decided to sort of take over this town, and as part of that takeover. And again, Battleground has a religious sect of people who live there, which are a minority sect within religion, which I'll have more for you. I'm sorry, I'm not prepared for today. Um, but this mayor has been slowly sort of yanking the entire town of Battleground, which was rather red to begin with, really far red. And so making certain proclamations, using proclamations as a mayor that seems somewhat like executive orders, um, and doing some odd things in terms of Nuclear Family Month, which I'm all for nuclear families. That's fantastic. 50% of the people who get married end in divorce, so those nuclear families are special. They should be cherished. But and not every family has a mom and a dad. So but at the same time, the proclamations are obviously political that he's extending. And the way he did a proclamation in support of ICE and would not do a pride proclamation, he's sending clear messages to the surrounding area of what type of town it is. And so we're going to delve in a little bit about Battleground. It's going to be one of my sort of weekly check-ins. We're going to talk about Battleground along with the Washington 3rd Congressional District race for the primary, and a little bit about the Republican John Brom. But we're going to spend a little time talking about Battleground because it's become a very interesting town to me and it's very close by. So that's Battleground in a nutshell. I don't know what else to say about that. So over to you, Autumn, for comment.
Wow, comment about Battleground.
That went well. Have you?
I don't have a lot of comment about Battleground.
You don't? Okay. Yeah.
I have not. I've been there. Honestly, I've been there once,
Uh huh.
and
Hmm.
as it. Sorry, my
I've
phone
driven through
decided
it.
to play
It's a
a
drive-through.
video.
You know.
Yeah, it's definitely a drive-through city, and I can tell you, as a queer person, it was
Hmm.
a place I was not comfortable in. Like,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
soon as I got out of the car and went in the gas station, I was on my own, and I knew I was not in a safe place.
Yeah. Yeah. There's certain places where you just, where you get out at a gas station and you have to go a potty or if you need a drink or whatever it is, that you think twice about. I mean, even in friendly areas, not you think twice. I mean, I think I'm not telling anyone who's from anything new. But yeah, there are definitely certain places that are drive through. They're drive through. And it's one of them. But anyways, they and I'll figure out while you're talking about your next story with that religious sect that's originally in Battleground, because I know that they're seen very pejoratively, and I want to know more about them too.
Yeah, it was also, I was looking it up while you were giving your half. So
Oh,
it's called Battleground, but it's actually based on a bloodless standoff
ah,
between, I guess, American
mm-hmm.
soldiers and a tribe that I cannot remember now. But
Oh
yes,
no.
but it was a complete, it was a bloodless standoff, so it wasn't even a battle.
Huh.
So I guess they just don't know what definitions are.
I guess so. Oh, my screensaver went off. For a second, did I lose you? Did I go away? So,
I'm
I,
still here.
good deal. Okay, so Battleground was a bloodless standoff. That's cool. I like that already. It's a conflict that ended bloodlessly. That's great. And did you find out what religious sect that it's a religious community there. It's a rather large religious community that's been there for decades.
I'm gonna take a guess and say it's fundamental Christianity.
Mm, yeah, we'll get that in a second while you're talking. I'll look at it. Oh, wait there. That's the best part about getting new equipment is that I now have access to my phone. So I can Google things while all, instead of having it over there. And plus I can see the comments, which is really nice too. I appreciate all the comments and the hearts. So thank you so much. And thank you all for being here. We're just basically talking about local politics in Portland and in Vancouver, Washington, the Couve. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the movie Tangerine, which is a movie that I enjoyed. I enjoy quite a bit. It's difficult in places, but it's a very very interesting movie for a lot of reasons, for me at least. So
So basically, what I said, they're
uh,
calling them historically conservative Christians. So
okay,
that would be like conservative Christians. 9 times out of 10 tend to be your
yeah.
evangelicals, like Baptist.
No, no, this is something like Amish. I don't want to guess because I know it's something like specific. So
Well,
let's
I do have
enter
30
into it.
years of experience in religion. I'm just
I
breaking it
know.
down
I'm just
based
saying.
on
I'm
that.
not trying to cut you down, babe. I'm just saying it's a specific religious sect that I remember in Battleground, that I want to get right because I think
The old
considering.
that was where I was going to. It was the old apocalyptic Lutheran churches.
Okay, okay,
Is what
um,
the article ties them into as far as that older sect, which I was going to Baptist Lutheran, because
okay,
they're kind of
yeah,
branched out at that point.
okay. I find it interesting because there were, like I said, this community had a religious element to it, and that there were difficulties within that community at Battleground with this religious element. They would bump up against aspects of society because of the way the sect lived, I guess. And now we have a new Christian environment coming into Battleground that wants to take over the whole town, and to sort of turn into a micro town like the one in Utah, in Idaho. In any event, we're going to report more on this. We'll have more information. This was spur of the moment desire to talk about this. So we're not exactly all of our eggs are still our cats are running around. They're nowhere near been hurted on this particular issue. But like I said, we're going to dedicate some time to it every week when we do our show because it's an interesting and important. There's also a church here in Vancouver that we're going to end up talking a bit about too after a bit.
That
That's
place.
yeah, that wants us dead. They want us beaten and then bullets in our head. So, and not just us, but all LGBTQ. Okay, so baby, now what's next? You got something from? eh,
Like I said, I didn't have a lot of really good
Okay,
stories to report on from Portland this week.
yeah, uh-huh. But you have something else from national or
I just
moving
had
to
the
the.
article that I'd wrote that was talking about the
Oh,
reflecting pool and
yeah.
the deal that's breaking apart as we speak. So,
Okay. Yeah.
I'm surprised. I'll be surprised if we even have a negotiation still going on by tomorrow at this point, because
Mm.
now they're saying one of the latest updates is supposedly JD Vance was just pulled out of Switzerland. So,
His book tour. This reality is interrupting his book tour.
I
Poor
know he's
world's
got to get those
smallest
books.
violin. Poor JD Vance's book tour. His hope to be president opportunity is dwindling. Oh no, the window's closing.
Well, anytime Trump actually wants his stunt double to stand by.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
I need you to go take a fall on that for me.
Go ahead. Say this was your idea. Anyway, yeah. So I have no sympathy for the man at all. I mean, he started off by saying Trump's American Hitler, and then next he's going, "Yes, sir, I'll take the job." Anyway, so I have
I don't
all
have any
whatsoever
sympathy
for him.
for him because he has a makeup artist in his house, because that man's eyeliner's always on point, and I'm
It
jealous half
does.
the time.
His eyeliner is better than mine. It's really not fair. Anyway, yeah. So that's an excellent segue to go to
Protect
Tangerine.
protect your couches.
Oh my god. Yes, right? Oh my god, that's so true. Um, so I want to riff on the old plastic cushion covers that you used to have in like
Why
grandma's
did people
house.
use those? Why did people use those?
I think we figured it out. JD explained exactly why. Anyway, I don't, I don't know.
So when
Uh,
everybody has those back on the furniture, make sure we thank JD Vance for that.
right, yeah, exactly. Oh God, I remember in the summertime when you'd be wearing shorts and you get up and it'd be like sticked to the plastic of the seat cover. Oh God, childhood memories there.
It was as bad as the vinyl seats in the car.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, ooh, oof, yeah. And it'd be in the sun, really hot. Oh, you grew up
Or
in
leather.
Texas. You grew up in
Leather.
Texas. Yeah, leather was nice.
Hmm.
But would you grab the handle of the seatbelt thing and after it been sitting in the window in the heat for so long and the Texas branding iron? Isn't that what that's
I
called?
mean, yeah, you kind of juggled that around. You know,
Okay.
if you weren't
Yeah.
putting your window down in the first 3 seconds, you were getting yelled at.
You could have never put it down. You were done. All right. I spent some time in Texas too, and it's hot. Anyway, so we're gonna switch gears here for a little bit to talk about a movie called Tangerine. Um, Tangerine came out in 2015, and it's I guess famous for lack of a better word for several things. It was shot entirely on an iPhone, or almost entirely on an iPhone, uh, which is noticeable at the beginning of the film, but then becomes because the storyline is so captivating, so to speak. Um, you lose that wow, you're watching an iPhone movie, and it becomes sort of bleeds into the background. What I loved about the way that the film was made, one of the things, is because of the way that they filmed it with the iPhone and would be in the public, out at on the street corner or wherever it was, a store, a bus stop, uh, people would naturally look to see what's going on with the iPhone, the lights. I assume that's what attracted their attention, but it gives the visual impression or appearance of what it's like for us, wherever we go, everybody's looking. So whenever someone walks by, they turn to look at the filming action when in our experience that they're generally turning to look at us. So it gives this impression that she's never really alone. Eyes are always on her wherever she's going. So who's she? So the movie 2015, and it stars two trans women. I'm just going to name the characters Cindy and Alexandra. And the movie opens in a donut shop in Los Angeles on Christmas Eve. And what we know in this opening scene is that they're close friends, these two, and that Cindy has been in jail. She just got out of jail for 28 days after being in jail for 28 days. And we don't know why at this point, why she's in jail. Uh, and they're sharing a donut. And we know that their friendship is very deep because, or very special, because we find in that conversation initially that the reason that Alexandra doesn't have her phone available is because she didn't pay her bill so that she could pay Cindy's rent while Cindy was in jail. So they're very, close bond. That friendship is key to the entire movie, actually. And but oh, Autumn's yawning.
Sorry.
It's me. Gotcha. No,
Way to call me out.
I know I shouldn't have. I'm so sorry, honey. Oh, that's horrible. But anyway, so they're at this donut shop and they're enjoying a shared donut because they're both broke for their Christmas Eve sort of celebration together. And Cindy decides to share an intimate aspect of her relationship by she mentions that she has something special to say and it involves her boyfriend. Um, Alexandra, being the incredible and supportive friend that she is, instantly assumes that that they're breaking up. That Cindy's going to break up with him because she's going to be there to support her friend, and we don't know. Well, we do know based off that scene that isn't her intention, but we don't know what her intention is at that point or what the secret really is. Uh, but she, responds while supportively saying, "It's about time. He's been sleeping with everybody around, and this new girl." And so now we have a surprised friend about to say some, possibly good news, who's finding out that her boyfriend is cheating on her, and within this quick scene, we get the sort of like woman scorn, and then we then skip to a chaser. For lack of a better word, the cab driver is essentially a chaser. He is much more humanized throughout the story. We know his backstory, we know his relationship, we know some about his decisions every day, what he has to put up with. But he is a chaser, and it's an excellent sort of overview of what that sort of involves. In any event, We skip back to the decision that Cindy's going to make. She wants to find her boyfriend, and discuss with him and find out the truth because she doesn't know what's going on right now. She's hearing rumors, her best friend saying that he's cheating and that everybody on the block knows, but she can't remember the girl's name. Um, there's a slang word used in the movie that I have never encountered personally outside of this movie, and for a cis woman. I don't know whether that's a true word in the community. I've never, like I said, I've never heard it. Maybe with younger generations or whatever it is, um, but she is the woman that her boyfriend is cheating with is a cis woman, biological. Yeah. So and they call her Fish. And I mean, whatever. But they refer to that several times in the movie. And again, this movie is gritty. There's some aspects to this movie that I don't like. And there are some aspects to this movie that I will love forever. And there are reasons for that. And that's primarily because of the characters themselves. Not only is the the chaser humanized and given dynamics or excuse me, aspects of his character outside just typically he's just attracted to penis or girl penis. Um, but there he has a home life and he has motivations and both the trans women in this movie, and this is 2015, and it's one of the first movies, is my recollection at least that does this in terms of these are complex women, flawed women, emotional women,
Sandra,
damaged women. Huh?
answered your question about what fish is.
Yeah, I know. That's yes. Okay. Thank you, Sandra. Yes, I mean, it's clear from the context of the movie. I was trying to be nice, but Sandra, yes, I thank you, and I appreciate that, and it's good to know. I've never heard that used by trans women to describe cis women. I've only heard cis women or biological, or just woman. I mean, I don't use cis and trans in general conversation. I just talk about, my girlfriend Autumn, and then and that girl over there. I don't say cis and trans when I'm talking to normally in a normal environment. But
Only when we're working, yay.
yeah, yeah, I know. I mean, well, it's only necessary when you need a differentiation, when you need to make the distinction because we have something that might be different than cis women in general. So you use trans women in this situation to make the differentiation, just as you do from straight and gay. Um, and so it's not meant as a slur. Cis is not. Fish is in the aspect of the movie, but cis was never intended as that. It's just it's a gives trans women or trans people, because it's not just trans women, trans men exist too, so do non-binary people. We're almost 1 to 1 to 1, which I've always loved. Approximately 700,000 trans women in America, approximately 700,000 trans men, and then a little under 700,000 non-binary people, but it's like cis men and women are 1 to 1, and we're like 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. It's it's natural. It's nature. Anyway, so it's I find that exciting and interesting, but I don't know why I diverged on that. But anyway, cis is not intended by any means to be a slur. It's just it gives trans women a chance, or trans men or trans people an opportunity to describe an experience that's individual and specific to them in relation to a cis experience. And and we didn't invent it; the Romans did. So, but and there, yeah, and not everything that begins with trans involves us either. I guess Nancy Mace made another comment about trans mice recently that got laughed off of X. I think X itself gave a warning saying this isn't true. I guess, which is anyway. So back to the movie because I just killed a lot of time talking about that. Um, so what we understand, at least in this first few minutes of the movie, is that Cindy's been in jail. She's out after 28 days. It's Christmas Eve. She has no money. She's just learned potentially devastating that her boyfriend's been cheating on her, and she wants to go find the boyfriend. And then after checking in with a few people on the street, and again, this is Los Angeles, and it's and she gets some information about possibly the name of the girl that the boyfriend's been cheating with. And there's an amazing scene that I love more than almost anything in the world. This scene where she has a cigarette. It's the last cigarette she has. She's at a bus stop. She's trying to figure out what she wants to do. And I call this scene Cindy's decision. Um, and she finally gets a light and she's sitting on the bus stop, sort of just stress smoking. What should I do? Like, her life has crumbled. She's found out from her best friend that her boyfriend has been cheating on her. and he didn't pick her up in jail, which is another thing. But um, and the music that's being played in the background during the scene, which is overly saturated, brightly yellow, is this classical music, which is sort of a disconnect. It doesn't fit with the urban environment that's being shown there while she's, and it heightens the tension of her decision making as it's going on. And then it gets even heightened by even more as the bus pulls up, and there's a billboard of a face on that billboard on the bus that says, they'll always hold you back, and it's a person staring, and it's framed perfectly to where you see him sitting in the back of Cindy's head. You see the eyes staring at you as the viewer, and you see the people coming off the bus staring at Cindy. And then the music suddenly changes. It becomes a bit more techno. A drum break comes in, and then she says, "Fuck it," flicks her cigarette, and the music changes entirely. And Cindy has her plan, and she's now on her mission. And what we get in that scene is this entry into her thought processes, the way she handles that. You can see it in her expressions and the way she moves and the way she sort of deals with the intense emotion of it. And then the way that it all goes away the moment she makes her decision. She has that same sort of experience again while on the bus after grabbing the girl and going to confront the boyfriend when she remembers her friend Alexandra, who sings karaoke, has a show that she promised to go to. And we see that sort of process reframed in that where Cindy decides to take the girl that she's essentially kidnapped back with her to see her friend sing. What the movie does basically is that over the course of this sort of adventure where Cindy tries to track down and find the girl who's sleeping with what we later at the end of the movie find out is her fiance, and that they are going to be married. And we know we are challenged by that throughout the movie because even the blonde fish girl who was doesn't believe that Cindy's really the girlfriend. It's yeah, of course you're just deluded. You're going to go to Red Robin or whatever, or Red Lobster together. Yeah, sure. But so as an audience, we're tested in our understanding of what a trans woman's life could entail. Can it entail love? Can it entail a fiance? And can that actually be the truth? And so at the end of the movie, when we're sort of close to the end, when we're at the culmination of the different relationships coming together, the chaser, the chaser's wife, and mother-in-law, Cindy with her hostage, and Alexandra just sort of watching from the wings. We come to realize that is true, that he has promised to marry her, that he does love her, and that they do actually have this relationship that she's fighting to defend and save the entirety of the movie. And so we're clued into the reality that this isn't in her head; it's not delusional for her. Um, and then it ends, unfortunately, with heartbreak for at least between Cindy and Alexandra, the two best friends. The core of the movie, that relationship between those two, is the core of the movie. And we find out that Alexandra had also slept with her fiance back a bit ago, and Alexandra was more than happy to tell Cindy about the other girl, but not admit her own participation. And that movie, or that aspect of the movie. So now it's the very almost end of the movie, and there's a wedge between the two of them. That was a friendship that was so strong, and Cindy's trying to earn money because this is the danger of this movie, is that not all trans people are street prostitutes. And in this movie, they're working girls. But you risk, if you're not familiar with trans people, assuming that from that specific to the general and that's a representation of Black trans people. It's not necessarily, but it's an interesting representation. But anyway, I digress again. What we see is she's trying to earn money, and they have their one last fight, and some car beeps, and Cindy walks to the car, and the passenger in that car throws a cup of urine on Cindy as she approaches, and gets in her hair and her mouth, and Alexandra comes running over and grabs her, and they go into the all night laundry that's right there, and Alexandra helps Cindy get out of her piss covered clothes and clean her up a little bit, and they have to take Cindy's wig off. And the movie ends with the two of them framed as we're looking at both of them. Um, and my screensaver went on again. This is important. How to turn that off? We're sort of framed, looking as if you're looking at us now, of Cindy and Alexandra in the laundromat, and they're waiting for the clothes to wash that are covered in urine. And um, and Alexandra sees how uncomfortable Cindy is without her wig, and how and so Alexandra takes off her wig and gives it to Cindy to wear so that she can feel more comfortable after that humiliating experience. And then the movie ends with Cindy taking Alexandra's hand, and while they sit there waiting for the laundry to finish. And it's a day in the life of two trans women, who are, for all intents and purposes, full characters with lives and with desires. That never once in the movie does anyone say, "I'm trans and let me tell you what that means." Nowhere in the movie does anyone say, "My transitioning allowed me to do this." This is just two girls, one scorned, on a mission, and through the seedy, well, I don't want to say seedy, but through the streets of LA. Um, and it doesn't say, and it doesn't give a fuck whether you understand what trans people are, or what, this is trans people, and or at least a depiction of trans characters and trans women who have depth and experience and emotions, and it's a wonderfully interesting story from that regard. There's some difficulties here. I mean, it deals with prostitutions, it deals with drugs. Her fiance is no saint. He's sleeping around. He's a pimp. He's a drug dealer. It's um, but it's the friendship between Alexandra and Cindy is the core, anyway, to the movie, and surviving on the streets, and the hustle. It's about the hustle. The fiance to Alexandra is trade. Do them before they, because they're going to do you, so do them first. They're just trade, and everything's about the hustle. It's just getting by. But there's time for love, and that happens in this, and you get to meet two very interesting, to say the least, characters. Now, the actress, both the actress who plays Cindy and the actress who plays Alexandra are both trans. And I know that the actress who played Alexandra won an Independent Spirit Award for acting for this particular movie.
That is someone. Sorry.
I was like, Autumn, don't worry. I will fill 20 minutes easy with the movie. Don't worry.
No, my phone was just like vibrating, so I picked it up, and when I went to swipe up to silence it, it was on a
Yeah.
video. My bad.
Oh, no, no, no. I don't. I'm just think it's funny. Oh, I found a mute button, but I didn't use it, and I coughed anyway. So, but
At least yours is on a pad. Mine's up here on the mic.
oh, so you got to
I
reach
have
out.
to like dangle my
Yeah,
hand in the right position to even
right.
touch it.
Yeah, mine's so cool though. It lights up. It's so cool. Oh, it's not lighting. Oh no, we gotta light it up.
We'll figure out her lighting situation later. To be continued.
Figure rolls.
Oh,
Anyway, it's so cute. So, but anyway, so that's basically the movie Tangerine, and if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It is shot very interestingly. You're certainly like walking along with them while they walk down the street to try and find their goals. Um, but it does give a very unique perspective of what it's like to be trans by virtue of that technique. Like I mentioned earlier, everyone stares at them, possibly because they're being followed by a camera crew, but everyone stares at them, and that gives an interesting idea of somewhat what it's like to walk the street as trans, or to go into a grocery store as trans, or to take the train or the bus as trans. Everybody's staring at you, and sometimes they don't have good looks on their faces. In any event, most of the time it's just sort of quizzical. But anyway, I digress. So I say that a lot. What do you think of the movie, Autumn?
I really liked the movie.
Hmm.
It was challenging for me because, it kind of brought me back to grassroots a little bit because
Hmm.
definitely was in areas that I can relate to when it comes to the street hustle like that. So,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
seeing that aspect, I think
Hmm.
they did a really good job at keeping it close to what the culture in the streets is actually like.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. And I'm not gonna. I don't know how much we want to go into that, but yeah. So did.
I just worked in very sketchy areas in Detroit, so I was used to walking an 8 mile, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I I had some people call me crazy because
Hmm.
normally they say if you walk 8 mile, you're either strapped or you're rolling with the group, and I had neither. So,
So you were
and it's
crazy. Okay.
just yeah, it was a little craziness, but you just learn to adapt to the culture.
Yeah. I mean, like I've said many times, I know how to walk in a city. I know what to look for. I know what sketchy looks like, and I know what dangerous looks like. I feel comfortable in a city. It doesn't really scare me. I know what to avoid. Get me out in the wilderness, and I have no freaking clue what to do.
We
Uh,
will be taking her camping this summer.
yeah, sure. Let's go with that. There has to be a Starbucks within an 8 mile radius. Um,
That's
so
roughing it there.
yeah, that's rough with it. No, I'll go 16. But no, it's just so it's the lack of familiarity, I guess, and the urban environment for some can be intimidating, and it can be sort of rough appearing. I don't know. I always thought the New York City analogy that as you're walking, they'll get upset at you as you walk in front of their car, but if you were to get hurt, they'd be the first one to run out and grab you and see if you're okay. You know, fuck you. But if you're hurt, I'll be there and check on you. In the Midwest, the Midwest also has that sort of friendliness. Everybody says hi, but I don't necessarily think they would follow through in that sincerity sometimes. Whereas I know that New Yorkers are gruff, but they have martial
I
hearts. It's my theory. I don't know. I'll test it
haven't been to
someday.
New York enough for that one, so.
No, yeah, I haven't either actually. It's just a completely unfounded bullshit theory, but I'm gonna hold it and test it and see what
All
happens.
right, well, it's and that's why it starts as a theory. You gotta test
Yeah,
your results, right?
it's a hypothesis.
There you go.
Anyway, I mean, I think all people are basically good. That's I start from the position that people are basically good. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I know. But it's true. I'm an optimist. It's not just half full. It's like really cute and half full. So I don't know. Um, I don't. I'm just babbling now because I ran out of stuff to talk about in terms of the movie, and we still have 10 minutes to 13
well,
minutes
we
to
can
go.
talk about what's coming up this week. We got a lot going on.
We do, we do, we do. And I also want to talk about the class. We forgot to talk about the class. What did
Yes.
so yeah. So we took a class involving protest safety and de-escalation, and it talked about a certain method called Clara. Some people might have heard of that if they've attended some of these classes, but it was a very interesting technique for sort of refocusing someone who's maybe in a hostile environment or being angry to help them sort of become calm, or to at least de-escalate the situation to avoid, you know, issues at a protest. And so by issues at a protest, I mean someone from, say, the protesters causing a reaction from the other side or for what's being protested, because of it gets out of control. It's not calm. It's not peaceful. It becomes an agitator within the protest itself. And so how to diffuse, and it's not like they snuck someone in there. I don't mean to imply that. It's more just the heat of the moment of being there at the protest can get to you. And when people are screaming at you and calling you names and things like that, uh, it's nice to have someone like the medics that can come and sort of calm you down. Does that sound about right? Am I talking out my ass?
You got it. If you're ready,
Okay.
we can go to the bubble.
Oh, we're gonna go to the bubble. Yes. The guys. Oh, Sandra, the guys at the culinary school called you one. Oh, there's a conversation there, Sandra. There's a conversation there. Um,
So, Boundless Love Project actually has the Claire method of de-escalation online.
Excellent. Okay. Boundless love. Love it. So the Claire method starts with calm. Make sure you're calm. How long does cortisol last in the system after you get upset and agitated?
45 minutes.
45 minutes? Okay. So, be aware of that if you are agitated or become upset and you are being confronted by someone with a video camera, trying to get you to blow up so that they can get clicks and make money and make our side look bad and the Republic Manga side look good because whatever. Um, remember that cortisol stays in the system for a little bit, and that during that period, you're more easily likely to bounce back up to being escalated. Go ahead, hon.
Oh, you're good. I was
Oh,
letting you.
I can't read it. So, so what's the next letter? CL.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I thought you were reading it. My bad. Hold on.
No, no. I can't remember what the letter L stands for.
Okay, so L is listen. Listen
Listen.
deeply for
Mhm,
what feelings they're experiencing, what needs of theirs are not being met, what universal values or principles are at play, and what behaviors they are concerned about. Be kindly listening to them.
mhm.
You help them feel heard, respected, and valued, and this helps to calm them and de-escalate this.
Yeah, and this is a wonderful tool not only just for protest de-escalation, but also I think it would work wonderfully. Like I said, I was concerned about using something like this if being confronted in the grocery store by someone yelling at me that I'm a pedophile and I'm after their kids or something, um, and being able to de-escalate them. But it also works in interpersonal relationships, like with a loved one or whatever it is. But the active listening, that's the hard part because that's what it's talking about is active listening. Um, and remembering that I have a tendency sometimes when I hear someone talk of spending some of that time sort of disassociating and what I'm doing is how am I going to respond to this word or two that they said at the beginning of their phrase that triggered me or got me a little bit keyed in and I don't listen to the rest of what they're saying. And so it's difficult, especially when someone may be screaming something that you don't believe in, to take the time and to be able to actively listen to them and validate those feelings. That's the important part. By validating those feelings, you aren't necessarily agreeing with the truths they're saying or what they're saying that they've made. You're validating that if true, those things would be upsetting to me too, kind of thing. Hopefully that wasn't the next letter. CLA.
Nope. A,
Okay.
affirm.
Affirm.
Affirm,
Yes.
affirm their dignity, worth, belonging, and safety non-verbally and possibly verbally too. Affirm their underlying feelings, needs, and values by reflecting back what you heard from them and
Mhm.
asking them to confirm if you understood them in this way.
Yeah.
All your words should remain focused on them and their needs. This helps them feel your empathy, understanding, and respect, and will help
Mhm.
calm them and de-escalate the situation.
Yeah, and that's very important because you're not only proving that you were actively listening by saying this is what I heard, but you're also affirming that those feelings again are you know valid that they're experiencing, which I find people just want to be heard sometimes. In our society, it's so difficult for people to get space and have other people hold space for those times that they just need to sort of um, tell us or someone what's going on. So um, it's very important to actively listen and then at least confirm that you understood their concerns. All right, what's the next letter?
Is it's R for response. Respond with open-ended questions or questions that help them reframe the situation. Respond by vulnerability, sharing the feelings and needs of yourself or the people you are protecting to help them connect with their humanity and compassion. Respond by brainstorming positive concrete actions that you are able to do that might address your concerns. Respond by offering ideas that help them reframe the situation according to the values, needs, and principles that are at play.
Hmm. So my response of "You're wrong" no, is probably not the right way to do it. Yeah, you want to play. Obviously, again, what the goal here is to de-escalate someone who's become sort of uh, a danger not only to themselves, possibly to others, but at least and and you want to calm them down. They've lost the calm that you need. And so it's an effort to de-escalate them. You're not necessarily agreeing with the things that they're saying or what's upsetting to them, but you're just sort of empathizing and understanding and responding so that they know that they're heard. Um, And then the last.
is A for add, which is provide resources for them to check out later. Add a behavioral request for them using positive, non judgment, and concrete language.
Right? You're wrong. Now go jump off a pier. No, you can't do that. Yeah, if possible. This is one of those categories that may be difficult, especially if you know. But add, yeah, if you can try and I don't know, try and leave it with something positive. It's always nice, right? All right, but yeah, uh,
I
and
like the gray stone, though. The gray
yeah,
stone was my favorite.
I think that's the most helpful possibly for trans people who are being sort of like standing in the grocery and having somebody outwardly sort of, want to come up to them and screaming. It's just, and for those of you who don't know, I'm sure some of you do, but it's gray walling or gray rocking. Is just basically giving no, like Autumn's doing a wonderful job right now. Gray walling, she's getting no response whatsoever. Thank you for doing that, Autumn. That's perfect. You planned that absolutely perfectly.
We had to
I
give
love
them
you,
a
girl.
demonstration.
Yeah, exactly. It helps if you get a demonstration. So it's just you basically just shut off all the emotion, very very stoic. Um, and the idea being, of course, is that they'll eventually run out of steam or whatever. But it takes they're gonna throw things at you, not throw physically, but you're gonna hear some things. It's nothing we haven't heard. I mean, we're famous for the idea that we beat ourselves up more better than anybody else can throw slurs at me. I've done it way better to me. So it's not anything I've ever not heard. Um, Anyway, so now how much time we have? Honey, we
Why are
still
we
have 4
counting the
minutes. I
minutes?
don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I got it.
Samantha's
Yeah.
rushing everybody at tonight, so we're just gonna deal with
I have
that.
salmon steaks. I'm trying to I gotta make grilled salmon salad and they look so delicious. Um
Well, do we want to recap next weekend and we can call it?
No, well, I mean, yeah. So let's recap next week. So what are we going to do then? We talked about and by the way, the protest class is offered by Indivisible. You can reach them at their website. Do we have the website handy? I
I
can't remember.
will link it to Substack and Facebook.
Okay, good. And if you're in the Portland area, I highly recommend going and seeing Hawkeye, give the class and supporting them. But it's if you're in,
And they
especially
do
if
have, I'm sorry, they
go
do
ahead.
have the 1 hour light and the 2 hour full class. So that is
Yes.
an option for you as well.
Very good. Very good. And don't be a me. Don't go down to the ice center in the middle of November wearing high heels and a skirt and not realizing that 90% of protesting is standing in one place in the weather for a long period of time. I mean, a long period of time. So dress appropriately. And wear comfortable shoes. And drink water. But the class also talks about certain things like deconning, and certain equipment that you can purchase if you wish to go down there to a protest where you think they might be using chemical agents or they might be using some rubber bullets. Um, God forbid we never get to that point. Well, I mean, it's already happening in places, but
I was going to say,
uh,
I've been shot by marbles at the ice facility already. So,
okay, yeah,
and that
well,
was by DHS. So,
yeah. Yeah, so for those who don't know, Autumn, before we started our show, Autumn had been down there for several months protesting and covering the news and for the radio station regarding the ice facility. Back when the frog and the chicken were sort of the mainstays of the news. But anyway, and no, Autumn's not the frog.
I'm the trans witch, y'all. Come
You're the
on.
trans witch. That's exactly right. She's not the chicken or the frog. She's the trans witch. Yeah. All right. So, but you can, yeah, we won't go into that right now. But anyway, so what are we doing next week, Autumn? And I'll try not to
So I think
derail you
you,
this time.
I think you got an interview in the studio next week with Volume Bomb, right?
That's right. I will be interviewing Jamie Lynn again from Volume Bomb Records. We will be promoting the July 4th Pride at Full Volume, which we've talked about several times, and I'm really excited about. I really like the idea of a punk drag fashion show, and I like the fact that it's female and queer led punk bands. So
Oh, it's gonna be a rocking day.
yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. How many
And then
stage dive?
while Samantha's doing that, I will be hanging out with KXRW, getting set up at the Northwestern Book Fair and Media Fest at Clark College
Hmm.
in Vancouver next week, starting at 10 to 3.
Yeah. And then I will, as soon as I'm done talking to Jamie Lynn, I will rush right over there so that I can be there too, so that we can talk about our various shows. Because they have a panel, I guess, that'll come up, give us an opportunity to explain some of it at our shows. Is that what I understand?
Yeah, they might have to listen to me talk on stage. I don't know. I might not torture them with that one.
Oh, honey, you're fine with that. You gave the Trans Day of Remembrance speech last, so
Oh,
you're good.
I can pull a speech out every once in a while.
Yeah, and you gave the Trans Day of Visibility speech for me. So yeah. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to fix this thing with my screensaver. Um, that's just silly. I keep anyway. Um,
And then Sunday will be a Rad Pride here in Portland, which is a non-corporate Pride event, and
it was a
that is to have, I believe, 3 to 5,000 people. So that should be a fun event to go check out next week as well.
okay. Non-corporate pride. This is
Mhm.
yeah, back to the
This is
roots.
grassroots.
Yeah. And users are user supported. I don't know. That's
Yes, there
probably
you
not the
go.
right thing. Yeah. I think we
Crowdsourced.
crowdsource. Yes. Whatever. But it's yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be really exciting. It's gonna be hopefully well, I mean, I don't want to say hopefully because I love the family friendly prides, but this is a more of adult oriented pride. Would that be fair?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely fair.
Okay.
It's going to have a lot more protest activity,
Uh-huh. Okay.
unions, things like that. But
Wow. Okay. So this is going to be exciting. And so that's Sunday, and then we'll talk about that Sunday afternoon on our show. Correct?
yeah,
We're still going to make it. Okay.
we should be able to. I think Rad Pride ends at 3, and if not, we're going to want to go by 3 anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably. It's gonna be hot. And then what else do we have? Do we have anything else coming up
I
other than that?
think that's it for next weekend.
Okay. So yeah, busy weekend. I know that we as we get closer to July here in the Portland area, that again they do Pride in July because various decisions. And so Pride is going to extend into the next month for us. So you get to I'm going to drag you kicking and screaming with me because we're going to take you to a bunch of Pride events and talk about those. Well, not you, Autumn. You're dragging me. Well, I'm not kicking and screaming though. I'm happily like ride or die. But you're the one certainly setting the Portland side of the
Come on,
campus,
any excuse to get one more month of Pride.
right? Yeah, exactly. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all. Um, but anyway, so that's what it looks like for us. So again, we do this another dry run every Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern. We do a Thursday shows occasionally. I call it a special side quest edition, and we were lucky enough to be able to do that with Onyx Rose on Thursday. And I want to thank Onyx Rose for that, for showing up on short notice. It was a lot of fun. And but this is our usual time, and this is our usual channel, our usual bat channel. I don't know what that.
A little more
Okay.
free form of a show today than we normally do, but
Yeah. Usually we are we go. There's more opportunity to go to the bubble usually, because we cover different news stories. So we have different images, and I got I get to go there once. But we really appreciate you being here and for listening to us and for hearing us for talk about uh Cindy and Tangerine. And if you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. I think it's streaming on Tubi. I thought it was on Hulu, but I can't find it on Hulu anymore. Um, and then we talked a little bit about the reflecting pool and Battleground, which will be more in our next show, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Brett Heinrich, Brett Henrich, my interview with Brett Henrich will go live on KXOW tomorrow night. I think
Woohoo.
it was a very good video, or excuse me, a very good interview. I find, and yeah, my pleasure, Jan. My pleasure, anytime. It's good to see you too. Um, but yeah, more to come, and look for us on the internet on the Substack. Um,
Substack,
on Substack. If you see me in the comments, say hi. I'll say hi back.
Facebook, other socials.
Are you on other socials? I mean, I
I
know
was
they.
like, any other socials? I'm on most of them now, so you
I
can
need
find
to
me
do the.
somewhere.
Yeah, the Facebook one. That's the radio station that requires me to be on Facebook, and that's I don't like Facebook.
Samantha
Facebook is
loves
evil.
Facebook. She
I love
calls me about it all the time.
no because I end up getting into meaningless fights with bots that are just it's public opinion bots and
Mhm.
fake AI stuff. It's
That's
a
why I
it's
tell you,
it's a
watch their
cesspool.
post, and if they've posted 40,000
Hmm.
posts and they have 5 friends, they're a bot.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, I don't know why I'm riffing on that, but so if you see us here on Substack, please say hi. We're gonna say our goodbye. What's your send off, Autumn?
Mine is keep your candles lit, and I will keep your candles lit. Be blessed, and I'll see you in the moonlight.
Thank you very much. And again, Samantha Paige here with Autumn Rose, talking about another Dry Run podcast and talking about
Facebook
some video
does
stuff.
suck, Donna.
Yeah, yes, Facebook does suck. Facebook sucks. Oh God, can they hear me? I wonder. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us for another episode. We really appreciate it. We have so much fun doing this, and we have so much fun seeing you all and chatting with you all. And we seriously just want you to be safe. And we seriously just want you to know you're loved. And we seriously want you to know that you're valid. And if you're an ally, thank you so much for your support. It means a lot, especially in these times when it's so obvious that the extent that the government is going towards to eradicate us. And a big shout out to those in the UK who are siblings, especially with going on with the HRC guidance. So, um, but big love, you're valid, be safe, and we'll see you next week and make the best of your week. Bye bye. Where's the end button? Oh, there it is. Bye, everybody. Oh, it's never ending.